Hey, Programming 11. We're going to take a look at a somewhat more complex, whoa, I don't know what happened there, somewhat more complex sketch that uses a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about so far, uses all the shapes. I guess it doesn't use triangles or lines, but uses some of the shapes and uses color. And I'd like to show you a bit more about the layering and also how do you structure your program, because as you go forward with this, you're going to start making more and more complex shapes. You're going to make that robot drawing for the first assignment. So it's going to be really good to see an example of what your code should look like and how do you structure some of the more complex things. And I'll show you a couple tips as we go as well that are just kind of general processing things. So there's my drawing, and I'll just show you exactly how I put it together. I think I'm going to split screen it here. I don't know where my window went. There we go. I think that'll work. Okay, so basically I want to talk about, I'll put it up here, I want to talk about how I structured my program. So I have my comments about, my name. That's really important for you to do as well. Don't forget to do that. And then you can have some general comments about things you want to keep track of. Notes you want to give to me. If you have some things you want to say, it's a good place to put them. I have this just left over from our lessons. I'm just going to leave it there. That's cool. And then we'll begin with the size function, of course, comes first, because you can't draw in the output window if you haven't opened it yet. So size comes first. But then take a look at the structure here. Just glance over it. Don't worry about the code too much. But notice that I start putting in comments for the different shapes and different parts of the robot. Here's the ears. These are the two ellipses that make my ears. Here's the head. Here's the left eye. Here's the right eye. Here's the mouth. That's really important. I definitely want you to all remember to do this as you are building your code for your drawings that you're going to do. So when I look at your code, I should be able to see at a glance what part of the code draws which shape. So for the robot drawing, for example, you'll want to divide it into sky, sun, mountains, and for the robot, I would subdivide it into the parts of the robot. You can make a larger comment to say, here's the robot, and then here's the robot's head, their body, their whatever. I forget what all the parts are on the robot. Whatever it is, you can just kind of label those things as you go. So comments help you organize your code is the big takeaway for this. And then let's just go through the structure of this program, looking specifically at the code now. So you'll notice that the robot is green and its ears are green. So check it out. I have, fill green, and then I start drawing the ears. Why did I start with the ears first? Well, the ears are actually circles, right? So I don't want them to be actually like an ellipse here. I want to just have a half circle, but I don't want to have to program in some kind of crazy arc to make a half circle. I just drew the ears first, and then I drew the head on top of it. So you can use the layering to make interesting shapes that aren't necessarily, based on, the shapes that we have at our disposal. We can overlap things and combine them together. You can even make these seamless if you wanted to. If you're like, yes, I want to have just a head where the ears just kind of bump out and there's no black line here. So imagine if you also did a stroke green. I'm going to add that in. I'm going to run that and we'll see what that looks like. So check it out. Now we have, there's no dividing line here. The gray suddenly is a little bit of a poor background choice now, but it's okay. I'm not worried about making this drawing fantastic. I just want to see how you can make these combinations work. So that's great. Unfortunately, everything else now has green stroke as well. So I'm going to change that so that after my ears and after my head, starting in my eyes, I'm going to switch it to a black stroke. Black is just 0, 0, 0. And you can actually do a shortcut for black and any shade of gray. If you don't want to type in 3 zeros, just type in 1 0. And that'll default to black. 255, just as one argument, will default to white. And some number in between will be a shade of gray. So the old joke about the movie 50 Shades of Grey is clearly inaccurate. There are 256 shades of gray. 0 to 255 gives you all sorts of shades of gray. So I'm gonna give it this shade of gray, black. You can see that, now these have the black outline. But everything from here, this shape, this shape, this shape, all have a green outline, which creates that illusion that it's one kind of seamless shape. So yeah, so after the head, obviously the head has to be drawn next, and then the eyes and mouth can be drawn on top of it. So I got the left eye, I got the right eye, and I got the mouth as well. The mouth doesn't need its own fill because the last fill was black, but you never know. If you want to be really careful about that, you can just fill again with black just to make sure that it looks like, oh yeah, I can see where that fill is coming from. Like you can have redundant fills and redundant code to make the code more clear to yourself, especially while you're learning. That's totally fine. So that's the story behind my little monster face I got going on here. And just so you know, when I was drawing this face, I made mistakes too. The people that were here live in Block 1-1 saw me have the mouth like over in the side here when I just got my X and Y coordinates mixed up. All sorts of stuff happens. So expect there to be some trial and error. I didn't just type this out and it all just worked instantly. I made one shape at a time. So I actually started with the head. And I just had a rectangle function. And I worked on that until I got it to the right place. And once I knew the head was in place, then I think I drew the ears next. And I ran the program over and over again until I got the ears in the right place. And this is what my code looked like. It was just these lines of code. I don't even think I had the stroke in there or anything. I don't even think I had the color. I think I just had black and white and just trying to position things. After I got that done, I went to the eyes and so on. So you shouldn't expect to just type, run, oh, there's my drawing. Like that is not how you program. Programming is an incremental activity where you get one piece correct at a time. So don't move on to any other parts of your drawings until you're satisfied that whatever you've done so far is correct. Okay, so thank you very much for trying out these assignments. I hope they're going smoothly for you. And on the next video, I'll just tell you what the actual assignment is that's worth marks. These are all just kind of experiments and stuff. But the first project, I'll call it, is coming up next. So take a look.